tasty. Very tasty. Nick Wright, top of next hour. Herd hierarchy after 2 weeks. I have a team that's 0-2 in my top 10 and a team that's 2-0 that's not. It's not standings. That's the other network. That's not standings. I don't do standings. It's not like USA Today. We get standings in the red section. No, I'm telling you what I see. What I see is interesting in San Francisco. News story today, Deebo Samuel out 2 weeks. So now Christian McCaffrey, the motor, is out of the offense. And Deebo Samuel, who is the great chess piece for the Niners, he's out of the offense. So now Brock Purdy, no excuses, instead of having the most stacked roster in the league, is like a George Kittle ankle sprain from just having a really good roster. No excuses. Sam Darnold didn't have his number 2 receiver, his number 1 tight end, and by the end of the game, his number 1 receiver, and lit San Francisco's defense up. Joe Burrow still doesn't have Higgins. He was really good against Kansas City. I mean, I'm watching guys all over this league. So here's the question with Brock Purdy. Is he a foundational piece? Because at the end of this year, he's going to want money. He's been playing for free. He's going to want money. Not like he's making a ton with endorsements. And so the next 2-3 weeks now, no McCaffrey, no Deebo. Brandon Ayuk relationship right now is building, but has not been good. He's not getting a ton of looks. And I'm looking around this league. Sam Darnold was missing all sorts of stuff Sunday and outplayed Brock Purdy. He didn't have his number 1 or number 2 receiver or his number 1 tight end by the end of the game and looked great. Now, the good news for the Niners, their schedule, they got layups coming up. Rams are all beat up than New England, so there's layups. But I'm watching Jalen Hurts last night. Didn't have A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts was unbelievable. The Bills are top 3 in scoring, and they don't have Stephon Diggs. He's gone. So you start looking around. You can really figure out, are you just going to be a guy that needs to be carried, or are you a guy that can carry? Because no Deebo and no Christian McCaffrey, those are great players. And they're not only great players. One's the engine. The other is the primary chess piece. But you still have Kittle, Trent Williams. We think Jennings will play. Backup running back's good. Brandon Ayuk. But it's important now. Is he a foundational piece or just a good poker player when he has the right hand? When he has the good cards, he can win a hand. Which is he? You know where I land? Like him. I thought he was solid Sunday, but these next 3 or 4 games, when he may not have Deebo, he may not have McCaffrey, watch closely. J-Mac with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Love when you needle Brock Purdy.
Needle. Is that what you call it?
That's what you're doing.
I don't see it as needling.
He's got a stacked deck. He should win, and then he doesn't have anybody. You got to win. Like, it just feels unfair to Purdy.
Josh Allen looks better than ever without Stephon Diggs. Darnold was amazing Sunday. Jalen Hurts last night. Hold on.
Josh Allen faced the Cardinals' joke of a defense, and then the Dolphins, who don't have a defense at all. Like, let's calm down. Yes, he has looked good. I have him on my fantasy team.
Oh, okay.
Let's just...
It's funny. Do you have Brock Purdy on your fantasy team?
I do. He's the backup. I'm not even kidding. That is not a joke.
Which is what he would be in Buffalo if he was on the team.
No. Fantasy's all about stats, and Josh Allen's rushing for touchdowns. So
what happens when you're uniquely gifted.
All right, let's start with Justin Fields here. He's filling in for the injured Russell Wilson. Listen, he's 2-0, doesn't have any turnovers. He's not really throwing the football down the field, but who cares? Steelers are 2-0. Russ is close to a return, but former Steelers legend Big Ben Roethlisberger believes Fields has earned the role of QB1.
If Russ is healthy, I'm sticking with Justin. I like what I've seen. I like that he's getting into it. I like he's getting the feel of it. If you had told me they're 1-1 or 0-2 and these are going on, I'd say, yeah, we got to do something. But again, he's not turning the ball over. They're 2-0. I think it's got to stay with him. I really do.
He's probably right.
Yeah, it's not like a hot take or anything.
No, that's probably what you do.
Ride the hot hand.
This has become what we predicted. And that eventually the defense is good enough. If you don't turn it over, you can win games in Pittsburgh. You're not going to go anywhere in January and February.
Listen, Zach Wilson won a couple games with the Jets defense last year.
Yeah, well, the Jets won 7 with the worst quarterback play in the league. If you're playing defense, you can win a bunch of games. You're not going to do anything late, but you can win them now.
And in August, I was hammering the Steelers, saying there's a 5 or 6 win team, and you were like, Tomlin can coax some magic.
I thought that they could get to 8. I mean, that's
but
what they
Steelers fans are thumping their chests out now because they're 2-0. Okay.
Well, in fairness, they had. If you watch Kirk Cousins against the Steelers, like, he didn't move. He told Troy Aikman last night, I'm not 100%, but in the pocket, I'm 100%. I thought last night, especially in the second half, he moved within the pocket. I thought Kirk looked like Kirk Cousins. I thought early in the game, first drive, he looked a little stiff. I thought week 1, he looked stiff. But I thought, by the way, when you have an injury, I thought in the second half he was getting good protection with the run game. I thought Kirk Cousins, I couldn't tell the difference between old Kirk and new Kirk. And by the way, I thought Aaron Rodgers, you'll see this over the course of time as his O-line gets some reps together. Aaron will look a little more nimble. But I thought Kirk, first week, with that T.J. Watt coming around the corner, Kirk looked old and off an injury. I thought he was a little rusty early last night, but I thought in the second half he looked like Kirk.
By the way, were you surprised that the Eagles did not blitz Kirk once on that 2-minute drill drive down when he went down the field for the game winner?
Fangio, that's not his style.
Well, that's dumb. I'm sorry. That's stupid.
Well, you don't
Spagnuolo, one of the maybe the best defensive mind in the league. Any big down, we're bringing the house. We're coming after you, whether it's Burrow, Super Bowl, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. But Kansas City's defensive personnel is better than Philadelphia's. They've drafted very well.
That's fair.
When you can move off Snead at corner and you may be just as good or better defensively, you've drafted and developed well.
But you got a statue in the pocket. You got to get him off his spot.
I think that's
carved
fair.
Him up. It was embarrassing.
I mean, here's the other thing about that Kirk Cousins drive. I mean, it looked like a Mahomes drive. Boom, 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 touchdown. I mean, it was so rhythmic and simple.
Yeah. I'd rather not talk about that anymore. All right, let's move on to the Cowboys column. You love the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
But listen, they got a big one this week after the blowout in week 2. Gave up 44 points to the Saints. Defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer tried to protect his players' performance, saying he didn't believe effort was the issue, adding he needs to do a better job. But Micah Parsons, because he's got a podcast, has chimed in with his own interpretation.
The effort was not there by all 11. It doesn't matter who plays well, who didn't play well. The effort by all 11 wasn't there. The basic fundamentals of the game of football was not there. And, at the end of the day, you have a standard of who you are during training camp and throughout this process to get you ready for the season. We didn't uphold that standard. That wasn't the Dallas Cowboys that I saw or I knew that showed up last week. It was not the same team this week. Was it the preparation? What was it? I don't know, but I'm determined to get this thing right.
Yeah, okay, words. Third time in like 6 games you've been blasted. Sorry.
Well, it's weird. Cowboys could be 1-2. Ravens could be 0-3. The loser of this game's probably
how
going to
good?
lead your
Who's
show.
got that game?
Fox.
Fox has that game?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
In a weird way, Baltimore losing has made that game even better.
Oh, it's a massive game.
Oh, it is. Listen, with Dallas, with Baltimore, there feels like some desperation.
Well, 0-3 is a death sentence in the NFL. It's over. Season done.
Especially in that division, because Cincinnati's good.
And Dallas falls to 1-2. Then you start the who's coaching next season. McCarthy's going to be gone.
So Fox has Baltimore, Dallas.
Yeah.
That's a record game.
By the way,
that's America's game of the week with Brady.
So
Brady's getting some good games.
I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, but is this job attractive after giving Dak Prescott all that money? This Cowboys coaching job?
It's not as attractive.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, just structurally, if you were an elite coach, it'll pay okay. But if you were an elite coach, Jerry Jones is the de facto general manager. That makes it unattractive. It's just not that attractive a job. I mean, here's what's great. The Hunt family is really the way to do it. They're rich, but they live in Dallas, and they have a president, a GM, a coach, a quarterback, and I happen to know a couple of people in that organization, and everybody is given responsibility, and you take the heat if you fail, but that's not the way it is in Dallas. Jerry wants the credit when they win, and he don't want to take it when they lose or overpay for somebody. So I don't think Dallas is a great job. Jim Harbaugh's really smart. He could have stayed at Michigan. He took the Charger job. He's like, it's a really good draft. The weaknesses I can solve. I've got an owner that's non-meddling. in Los Angeles, where, he's lived in California, and I have a star quarterback and 2 edge rushers. Like, if the elite candidates are only applying for a handful of jobs, like Chicago, if Matt Eberflus gets run out, it's the poorest owners, it's a defensive culture. I mean, Chicago's a tough media, it's a loud, tough media and fan base, bad weather, so it's not a great offensive city generally, although Green Bay would dispute that. So, I mean, when you ask me what are great jobs, Dallas is structurally not a great job because Jerry is your general manager, at least pretending to be it.
And the allocation of resources, like, it's all gone to Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and guess who's going to get paid? Micah Parsons.